Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. This one we have got the final reveal on the 5 Tiger Tank crew that I'm painting for Jason over at Modelkit Stuff. Oh, he'll be so chuffed that he's finally got them painted. I say that though, and I've just realised the last one I've done finished off today, and what this video is about, I haven't put the varnish over it, which will have to be done over the weekend. But never mind, it'll be on its way to him next week. So, 5 figures done, Miniart figures. As I said on my earlier videos, a bit of a trial to put together, lots of gaps that need filling. But once the gaps are filled, very nice. You know, they have some decent poses. They always do. They always think outside the box, I suppose. Sorry if you can hear Arch yet again. You'll hear him halfway through the video. He's very vocal today. Yeah, it's the faces, I think, are very good for plastic figures. You need to lift them very slightly around the hair and the ears with your paint, but apart from that, I think the faces are very, very nice. They take paint well. You know, they're not too Neanderthal looking, if that makes sense, and they've not all got the same faces, which helps. So yeah, overall, as I say, I'm not taking it away. You know, I'm going to kiss Miniart's butt. I support them wholeheartedly because of what's happening in, where are we? There we go. Ukraine, Slava, Ukraine. As we know, Miniart are a Ukrainian company. And we know what's going on in Ukraine at the moment, so it was good to paint some of their figures. But as I say, they are a trial to put together. Well, it's not a trial to put them together; it's just a trial to you have to do a lot of filling on them to get them. I would say all the ones I've done so far, and I haven't done loads, but they take a bit of filling. But once filled, they paint really nicely. So, thank you very much, Jason, for the opportunity to paint these. I hope your channel goes from strength to strength, which it is doing. He's a very approachable bloke, even his wife says. Partner, does it really matter? But he's a really nice fella, and it comes over on his videos that he does, and they're always helpful. I've just seen his Gloucester Gladiator one actually, and that was really helpful because I might well get that at some stage. So yeah, anyway, I'm waffling. This was shot after the fact. I've done the painting, done the rest of the video. So I hope there's something there for you to enjoy. It's only the flesh, as I said. I don't believe I said that, but I'm just wanting to show you the flesh techniques that I use and that might be helpful to you should you want to go down that road. So thanks a lot for stopping by and taking a look. I'll leave a link to Jason's channel. He's one of these guys I shout out a fair bit anyway, but there's a link going to his channel, and you can see the progress he's making on his diorama and on his Tiger Tank build from there, and the many other videos. If you think I put a few videos up, you should go and see his channel. And his channel is quality, not the rubbish you get on this one. Right, so it's a goodbye from me. And hang on a second, Arch, hang on a second, and it's goodbye from this guy here. This is the fella that makes all the noise. Now he's going to his favourite position now. He doesn't want you to you don't want to be a TV star. Okay then, look after yourselves guys, and we'll catch each other soon on another video. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Sorry, I'm frantically trying to move things around. I just thought I'd quickly, it would help if we actually got the figure in shot as well. Right, this is our figure. He's had a base coat of a Parasite Brown. I believe I gave him 2. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3. It's on a grey primer. You can see by the colour of the hair. But I just thought I'd quickly go through the paints I'm going to be using. Not including the eyes and that yet, and then a couple of stand-in paints if you want to try something a bit different. So we're going base coat, then we're mixing medium flesh to the base coat, which is about 50-50. Then medium flesh by itself. Then flat flesh and medium flesh, again mixed half and half. Then flat flesh by itself. Then, you guessed it, some basic skin tone mixed in with a flat flesh. Then some basic skin tone by itself. A little tiny, this is very strong, so only put a tiny amount in, yellow green. That'll give, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of Caucasian skin, it'll have that green tinge to it. Whether we're descended from Martians and that, I'm not too sure. But just a very, very small amount in that, because you don't want your face to be completely green. But it'll give you another glowing effect, as in not glowing in the dark, but just, you know, we're trying to go for that, like the other figures mostly a more glowing face tone. And then once I've done all that, I'll be adding a colour which we haven't got out. Let's just try and see. Yeah, let's go and have a bit of this. Bit of shadow flesh, highly watered down in the area, in the shadowy areas, and a touch of amaranth red, which will again give a hue to the skin. So they're all the ones I'm going to be using. I'll try and remember to talk about them as I'm going. Just if you don't fancy like just continuously always following skin, you know, bottles of skin. Yes, this is a basic flesh one from AK. It gives you a more of a, as you can see by the colour, a more of a browner look to it. But that means you can tone down your orange effect, for want of a better word, if you wish. The reason I'm using this is it just gives you that, it's a good base, it gives you that warm look that you probably wouldn't be using this if you were going to be doing Eastern Front type of German. Well, he's an Eastern Front, but what I mean is a winter one. But yeah, I use this on the base. I'm using it on the base of the 28mm Napoleonics I'm painting at the moment. I just started using that. That's not too bad because it normally covers in one go. But you could use that. And then colours that I use a lot in my display figures as well. Orange, tan, beige, red. Now I'm not telling you what stages to paint them. It's just going to get far too complicated. But I'm just trying to give you a couple of other options. As you can see, that doesn't say flesh on those. But if you wanted a different flesh colours, I use these quite a bit. So, as I say, I'm not going to start saying when you know, supplement that for that, because it's a completely different paint recipe. Right, got our figure. Let's see if we can turn him into something like the others. Right, let's see if we can do a bit of this on camera. This is where it all goes pear-shaped. What I normally do is leave, there's a tiny bit of actual grey paint that's got into the crease of the flesh near the shirt there, but it's not massively important because we're going to be putting some of that shadow, AK shadow flesh in. I'm only going to do a bit of this on camera because it's a bit of a struggle. And I've got the camera up, just trying a different camera angle, and the problem is it's a lot higher above my head, which means I don't have this synced up to my computer, so unfortunately I have to keep looking through the viewfinder and then realising that I'm not in shot. I'm painting most of the area with this colour of the 50-50 parasite brown and medium flesh. You won't see a great deal of difference at the moment. What I would say to you is so I can't think and do this at the same time. Classic gaff. Should never have done. I've been putting this off. Poor old Jason's been, well, he's not been banging the table waiting for him, but I'm sure he'd like him to get on with his dio. But I'm not very good at doing these on camera. And but at the same time, I like, you know, if I'm saying this is how I do stuff, I should be showing you how to do it. But it gets a bit of a bind trying to. I'm not really set up to do it. So that's our first bit down. I'm going to put I'll do the rest off camera so I can actually get some paint down on it. As I say, Jason would like these at some stage. So let's get on with it. As you can see, it doesn't look a lot of difference at the moment. Slightly different, probably, the way I'm looking at it to what you can see under the lights. But no, there's not a lot of difference at the moment. What we're trying to do is not jump the gradients of colour up too hard, so you get that patchy look. So far we've done 50-50 of these to achieve that, which, as I say, you won't see a lot of difference at the moment. So we're now just going on to this by itself now. Right guys, that's our first flat flesh on. I can never say it properly. You see it's starting to make a difference. Now what I'm also going to do, I mean, this might seem long-winded to people, but you know, you do it or you don't. It's up to you. But I've just made a heavy glaze. You know, it's almost sort of wash consistency. Let's just see if we can see it on our thumb here. So that's the type of consistency that I've done. Just wipe me off there. And what I'm going to try and do now is just take some of the residual off on the paper towel, and I'm now going over the areas that I've left in shadow and the highlight itself. So this is still flat flesh. Oh, I can't say that word. And we're just going over the areas I've still left in shadow with the areas I've freshly highlighted with the flat flesh. And that's just one brush that's already been wiped off. So that's the type of, you don't want to be pooling it on, because you'll start losing all the definition. Go in a bit closer. And what we're doing is quickly merging the different areas in, so it's not so stark. Obviously, I'll do all this yet, but I'll probably do another. I'll put the hairdryer over this and do another coat, or I might go onto this and then put another coat on this. Again, it's just as I've showed you on my thumbnail. That's the consistency you want. You can have it a bit thinner. I wouldn't go any heavier than that, because you'll end up just blotting out what you've done. But it's quite a pleasing result. So you're not having anything too patchy, and it's not too sharp a contrast. If I was doing, say, the Marine bust, the US Marine bust from the Vietnam War that I'm painting at the moment, if I was doing that, I would be glazing it a lot thinner and a lot more work involved. But this will get you through just making a transition without making it too much of a jump. Right, that's our guy with our basic skin tone wash over the top of. It's not a glaze; it is really just a wash, but it does a good job of just starting to merge into the shadow areas that I'd left with the previous tones. And it does. And what you'll do is, on at least the first couple of applications of flesh, we'll do that on each one. So as you can see, we've already got that quite glowing effect. Now some of it will be toned down with some more shadow areas and a couple of glazes of colours on top towards the end. but you don't have to if you don't want to. You could just leave it like that if you're after a really glowing type figure. So the next stage will be 50-50 flesh with flat flesh, and then flat flesh as the next coat. Right, our guy's got his layer of flat flesh onto the highlight areas. Again, I won't tell you, where to go. You just follow your brush, follow where you think you want to put it. Obviously on the high points would be a good start. But you can see you've got that quite glowing effect with that, where you've got that orangey parasite brown background to it. If you were doing, say, Africa core and things like that, it'd be a nice, or Italy or something like that, native, you could go back to Rome and places like that, and Celts and things, people that are outside a lot. So we're going to do what we did with the last one. We're going to make a wash up more or less of the flat flesh in that, and just try and merge that in slightly. Right, we've now gone through everything apart from the base flesh, which we'll mix in with some flat flesh in a bit. As you can see, we've got a fairly uniformed look to the flesh. Now what we will be doing is, at some point, obviously it'll all start changing. We'll be putting some shadow areas around the hairline, around the ears. The ears aren't massively detailed, but as I think we've shown on the other figures, once you do get them to a decent paint job on them, you can make up for slight not inaccuracies, but slightly softer detail that you might get with some plastic figures. Again, when I put my wash in, I've not gone as deep as some of the darker areas under the chin and into the collar, and some of it's slightly underneath the arms in places, but that's about the only bit I haven't put the wash into. Now what we're going to do now, as I say, is just one final highlight, and then we'll start bringing certain areas down slightly, and this is where people start yawning and people just go for the different, what they call them, tone inks and stuff, just to put over the top. As I say, it's just how you want to paint. You don't have to do this. This is just how I paint. But I prefer to highlight up and then start shading in areas and bring it down slightly, and then I will re-highlight again in very small amounts in places that I think need it. Right, what I've done there is put a bit of basic flesh into the flat flesh, and rather than just go straight to basic, because you can see, it will look very slightly patchy in places, but this is the highlight that I'm looking for before I start shading. I'm going to put a base colour on the hair as well, just so I like to put a base coat down before I start pushing shadow colours underneath it and stuff, just to give me an idea where things are really. But yeah, we'll be doing his eyes as well, although they're quite frowning at the moment, so trying to find them under there is going to be hit and miss. But yeah, now we're going to go for some shadow areas, and for that we will be looking at, we've got some shadow flesh here, but I'll also be putting probably some I'm not 100% sure yet, it could be some magenta, could be sorry, not magenta, could be some, let's reach out and get it, it could be some dark vermilion added there as well. This is where it all gets a bit hard to actually pin down what I'm actually going to be applying next. I mean, I can show you once I've done it, but I tend to go, oh, well, yeah, I'll try that. Or I might, even though I do these loads of times, all these tank crew, they've all got different faces. I've actually gone for that look as well, where I've just done very slightly different things with the flesh, and even the clothes, as I say, some are darker than others. Some of the shirt, like this one's slightly brighter than the others. I've still got to obviously do a bit of black lining I don't like black lining much, but when you've got these plastic figures, they're very slightly softer. So, you know, sometimes you have to, just to get them to stand out. They look a bit strong under the camera, but when they're actually back on a diorama, they obviously do what's needed to be done. So yeah, I'll come back to you once I've got the base of the hair done and we've pushed some shadows areas in. Right, we've got some of the shadow. Ooh, there we are. That's shadow flesh. Now you need to really water that down. So let me again catch my brush and put some on my thumbnail. Where is it? When it wants to actually. That's how thin it is. I actually just splayed the brush there. But I've loaded the brush now just to make it a bit more obvious. But that, ignore that. Sorry, ignore that bit there and that bit there, because that's just where it's accumulated. That's why you need to always wipe your brush off. I haven't, because I just wanted to show you. Can you see that area there? That's roughly what you need to be putting on your shadow areas that you want to. So in the case of how do you make your figure look, you know, a bit better, for want of a better word, I would put shadow area on the very inside of the ear, under the hairline, more or less track that all the way around. The deep recesses near the collar, under the chin. Although there's going to be a cleaning rod going through there, I still do them obviously in these type of areas. Around the shirt line, although I will be putting a darker line around that at some point. And again, anywhere where I think you know, shadows should be, really, I need to do some there actually, around there. And looking at that, I did a really good job on the hair, so that needs another coat on there as well. So yeah, next time you see it, we'll have a bit of colour in the cheeks, we'll have the eyes done and the hair done, and then we'll apply some of our amaranth red and a couple of other colours maybe, just on the face, and a couple of high points on the arms, and that'll be more or less the flesh tones, the hair, everything done. And then it'd be a case of just going around the figure and tidying her up, well, him up, until I'm happy with things. There's a bit of overspill on one of the rolled up sleeves, I noticed. Right guys, we've completed it. I know what I'm like, but it's just, at the moment, I'm just not up to painting under the camera, but I'll get back to it. But I will go through again what I've done. So, in the shadow areas, I've already put one paint away, so let's go and get it again. In the shadow areas under the hair, anywhere where I think there's going to be shadow, which I'll point out in a minute, I've used a very diluted shadow flesh, which is under the hairline, right up into the roots of the hair. I actually put, before I put the eyes in, I put now all my Pop Archie's getting really fed up because I've not thrown him some dummies to play with yet. Anyway, yeah, into the eye sockets I've put the shadow area, into the ears, not in the, a tiny bit in the ridges, just to try and give them some form, but more in the, you know, where the hole in your ear would be. I've gone around the neck area, under the chin, again where I said before. I've stippled on here some shadow area, plus some of the more lighter flesh hair colours that I've used earlier, just to give that shaved hair look slightly. And again, I've gone, where are you? We've gone into the deep areas with some of that shadow mix. Anywhere where you think, you know, it's entirely up to you where you think you're going to be, the shadow areas are in. That's Shauno from Shauno's World of Chaos, just photo bombed or video bombed me. What else? We've then gone using some Vallejo Dark Vermilion, but again, Scarlet will do you just as good, as long as it's, again, water it down a lot. You need to be seeing, if you put it on your nail first, you need to be seeing your nail through it, and that's where you put your foot, and wipe your excess off as well. And then I put some, you can hardly see it on this guy, on some cheeks. On some of the other guys, I think I've done it heavier, some lighter. As I say, what I've tried to do is give them all that bit of extra personality, so slightly different. We've gone on just on the high cheek areas, a bit round into the creases of around the nose and places like that. More so on the arms. Oh God, I'm sorry, I've got my camera higher up than normal. We've gone into these type of creases around the elbow joints, into the deep creases with it. Well, slightly out the deep creases. You want to be just brushing it away from the deepest parts, slightly uphill, just so you're not turning it too red. You're just trying to, you know, get an accent of colour around there. What else have we done? We put some that darkest. What was it called? Shadow flesh, that's the word I was after. I did a very light wash of that over the lips. Some people go a bit darker, some people a bit lighter. Obviously you don't want it too light because you end up making him look like he's got lipstick on. Once that was done, I then used, sorry, no I didn't. I then used flat flesh with a tiny amount of this yellow green, as I said before, very small amount. Mixed that up. Let's just see on my nail, I've got some still on the wet palette. Right, this is a bit heavy. No, that's a bit dry now. It would be a bit watered down. Let's see if we can just water it down with the paintbrush slightly. No, it's not really worked, has it? But that's roughly what you're looking at. And what you want to do is apply that to only the, be sparing with it, because that means you'll lose the glowing luminosity of it. So nose tips, eyebrow tips up here, wherever you, come on focus, wherever you, oh, Archie's got one on him today. If he knocks his camera tripod one more time, goes up the on the eyebrows, up on top of the brow there. You can see it shining away there on the top of the arm near the elbow joint, a bit on the knuckles. He'll start moaning and whinging again in a minute. I'll tell you what, working cockers, they absolutely know the power of pester power. On the top of the arms again there, anywhere where you see the sunlight hitting really. So once I've done that, that's when I came in with some really diluted amaranth red, which I used on this guy particularly sparingly. I think on one of the others I used it a bit more. But, come on, focus again please. That's what it looks like on your thumb. Again, no, I didn't, because I need it to show up for you, I haven't wiped the excess off. So wipe the excess off before you, let me just do it again, because I don't want you turning your figures into orange. So you can hardly see that now. That's been wiped off on towel, but that will show up on your figure. And what you want to do there is put it where again you think you want to put it. So you don't want to be covering those bright highlights up. I do it just slightly drawing back from the red that I've put on the cheeks. I draw it back in, away from the highest points into the more lower areas. Did a tiny bit round there. I haven't gone for a grey stubble look on this guy. Again, I'm trying to just show them all just slightly a bit different. And again, there isn't much amaranth orange on this at all, and to be honest with you, you don't want to put a lot, but mainly around this area here. And again, some on the arms as well, just merging it into the base of the very shiny highlight. You can put the very shiny highlight on last. I prefer to put it on the amaranth on last, just because I can take away some of that last highlight, that very luminosity highlight. If I think it's too much, especially around cheek areas and things, I can just merge it in slightly and take some of that away if I want to. That's why I do that last rather than leave the very, very brightest highlight till last. Yeah, and that's our guy done. A bit of rubber black around the around the shirt lines there. I have just got to go around this guy one last time. His hair colour was, they just call it camouflage brown, I believe, in the AK range. One of the guys, I think commentators told me it was like a standard camo brown, something like that. I use this, which is the one thing I found with these labels with AKs, they rub off really quickly. This is canvas tone, and I would strongly recommend you get some of this. It doesn't have to be AK if if you think you can match a colour with that. This works brilliantly for highlighting stuff as well as doing a lot of brown work where you don't want it too dark. So the hair went on with we'll call it standard, like a standard brown really, not too orangey brown or anything, just a standard like flat brown. No, not flat brown, that wouldn't work either. Come on Gav, think. Let's just find it out. Hang on a second guys, let's dig it out of the bottle. Draw, right, that's what I'm after. Again, it's already disintegrating off the top there, can't even read it. But that's the colour went for the base. So AK third generation, really love them. AK, you do some great paints on this third generation stuff, but can you just try and make your labels less to disintegrate? And then at the top, that's just a warm grey or grey brown, just as a really top highlight. It looks a bit over the top, straight up too close, but when you put it down, it's actually not too bad. You happy with that, Archie? Not really, are you? Right, so thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look, and I've been putting these up. Message to Jason, let me just move this away very slightly. Jason, I'm really sorry it's taken so long to get these done. It's unfortunately dealing with Gav is you've just got to go at Gav's pace, unfortunately. But I hope he's looking all right, and I hope the other guy's looking all right. As I say, I've tried to make them all slightly very different, and the trousers very slightly different, and the shirts, all that good stuff. And I really don't think after all this that you're gonna. You'll make my day if you can get that barrel cleaning rod to line up with these guys. As I say, you may have to heighten and lower the things that they're standing on. You'll make my day if you can get that to work. As I say, I wish both of us didn't know, and I'm not the modeller that you are, and you could have probably, if you'd have put these together, you might have got them all fitting. This is Gav doing it. I'm getting halfway decent with the brush, but my modelling skills still really lack something. But so Jason, I'm really sorry, Mara, that it's taking so long to get these done for you. But I hope these are okay. I did say for some reason I've got problems with your email. The couple of photographs I tried to send you come pinging back, so I'm obviously doing something wrong. So email me, Mara. You've got my address. Email me. Send me your address again, just so I've make sure I've got it. And obviously we've got our bank holiday over here, so my wife will get these off to you on Tuesday probably. I'm sorry for the delay. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look, guys. Oh, should we just? It's not really. No, I won't. I'll actually get some photographs done at the end. So hang about to the end, and I'll just do one last. This evening, I'll take some photographs of these guys. Cheers, guys. Anyways, thanks for stopping by and taking a look, and we'll be more painting projects coming up soon. What have we got? We're still doing the marine bust. I've painted the blooper mostly. Done his watch face badly, but it's done. And what else have we got showing you? Oh, I've got some 28mm German paras to do. Just bought a command set off the eBay and fitting them in there sometimes because I've always wanted to paint some. So they've got still got some a couple of 28mm Marines in Vietnam, Battle of Hue to finish off. Got a 28mm Spanish Succession era French guy I'm going to make him probably. What else have we got? We got more. Oh, I've been putting more those decals down on the motorbike. They're fine. They're still sitting down badly, but we're getting some progress on those. Doing a couple a night, and I'm hoping to have a session on the the Badger on Friday evening. The eggplane never got painted this week and won't get painted now to the weekend, but that'll be all done and dusted over the weekend. So yeah, lots going on. This has been very enjoyable, as in the painting the figures. As I say, it's, you know, painting figures is what I mainly do. I really love my modelling. I'm still not very good at it, as I say. I keep practicing. What I've always said though, with doing, the problem with me, I love my aircraft, I love my ships, and I love my armoured vehicles and soft skin vehicles. The one good thing in some senses with the 1 in 35s is I get to paint figures occasionally for them myself as well. I've still got a German half track to do, which was going to be on the Eastern Front, but I'm thoroughly sick and tired of that side of the world at the moment. I really don't want to be. Not sick and tired of Ukraine, just sick and tired of the other side. So I'll be doing that in the desert at some point. Now I'm going to get some more figures for that. Right, look after yourselves, guys. I'm rambling yet again.